Okay, so I just finished the second one. So the first one was Haru to Aiden, and the second one is Aiden to Haru. And then you find out it's actually a four-book series so far, and there's probably going to wind up being a fifth one at some point. So the third one is Noah to Haru, and then Mason to Haru, because this winds up having like a slight paranormal aspect to it. And if y'all are familiar with reverse harem, there's always like a fated mate thing, and when they have multiple partners, there's a reason for them having multiple. And so you find that out in book two. There's a reason why his brothers are attracted to him, and that is kind of a spoiler. But we find out in book two that Aiden is not the only one. So he has four brothers that are stepbrothers, and one of them is not attracted. He's not part of like the harem, and then the other three are. And so I'm like, okay, but nothing happens with anyone other than the Noah and Haru as far as book one and book two. But book three and book four, it'll happen. And I'm like, okay, so it's like this thing where they're from. There's a thing called like something maiden. And so it's like this ability that this person has to bring like wealth and prosperity to their family, but that only happens when the mates all stick together. And so I don't want to really like go into all the details because you understand it more when you hear from the uncle that explains it, and I don't think I can explain it very well. But it was good, and it excused some things that I was having some worries about, because like this isn't erotica; it's extremely graphic. So it does go into like anal. It's very descriptive, and it's like I do say, okay, so basically how I draw the line between like romance and erotica is if it has more than like two extremely graphic sex scenes, I kind of push that over into erotica, not just simply romance. So this is definitely erotica. And so it's a female author writing it, so there's always like, where is that line between just like writing a romance and like fetishizing? And not only that, but there's also like the race fetishization that can happen too, because he is very like feminine looking, and he's like small framed and all this other kind of stuff. So it's like, I mean, she calls it like a particular type of fascination that people have with boy love, like where they're from, and one of the characters, it definitely like fetishizes it, not to take part in it, but she likes to like see pictures of the brothers together and all this other kind of stuff, not like sexual pictures, but just there's like a fandom for that, and it has to do with like I guess the manga or something, like it's a specific type of manga that people are really into. So, yeah, she put it in a review, or it was in the description somewhere. She says what it is. Let me see if I can find it again. Um, so also I picked her because she had the letter X, but she's actually changed her author name now from Alexa X to Alexia Praks, and she also has a co-writer, but I think the co-writer is just herself, where she'll get her crossover readers, because there's the other name had like the same book and the same type books, and was not on the first one. So I don't think that she just got another writer for the second. I think that when she changed her name, she used it as a way to connect the old readers to the new ones. But yeah, so okay, it's called Fujoshi. So it says, if you're a Fujoshi and have a thing for stepbrother love, then this is the book for you. So it is, I guess. I don't know what the line is between like fetish and not fetish. And then the other thing with fiction is like, is it okay to fetishize? I don't know. I will say it's a very entertaining story, and I genuinely liked both of them, whether it does go and cross the line into like fetishizing. I still enjoyed it. I don't know that it does, but if you're like really socially conscious and want to make sure you're not consuming any media that does cross that line, then I would say avoid it, because I'm pretty sure it crosses into that. But because if you're familiar with reverse harem and how those work, then the explanations for the guy's attractions and all this other kind of stuff makes a lot of sense from just a reverse harem or even a paranormal perspective. Like, there's reasons for all this, and they're like fascinations with each other and everything. But just super entertaining. This woman knows how to write, and also, boy, did she pick amazing narrators for the audiobooks. Not just because they had good voices and they sounded great as narrators, but because they went all in. So when it got to the erotic stuff, they went all in. It sounded very natural for them. There was like no hesitation at all. They were saying whatever they were saying. And it's like, I would, if the narration hadn't been like serious and went all out like that, then I would wind up laughing, just because I think some sexual stuff is funny, because I'm weird. I will say, I don't like certain words when it comes to activities that are happening. And, I don't want the butthole described, because buttholes are nasty. Also, these guys it's like, so I was guilty of this with one of my co-authors, and we wrote a story, and we're like, these guys, they just had this big day, they're gonna go back, and we went there too. In the story. But then we had another friend read it, and they were like, yeah, y'all do realize that they would need to like clean out before that? And we're not guys, so we just didn't think about it. They were like, yeah, you're risking it being really messy if you don't add those steps. But at the same time, it's like, okay, when it's fiction, I guess you can kind of avoid those necessary preparation steps for that. But, yeah, so I've read gay erotica before. One of them was surprising because it was YA, so I wasn't expecting it. And it was very descriptive. I don't know if you would technically put it in erotica, since it wasn't like every chapter that stuff was happening. But it definitely should not have been marketed as YA, because of how explicit it was written. It was written like erotica is written. So I was just like, well, and this is the same thing. Just like, oh my gosh. But they all adults. But, yeah, it was really good. I don't want to post this video in case, like, family sees this. This is why I ain't told none of them about no channel, and it ain't got my name on it, so they ain't gonna search it. Hopefully I wouldn't pop up in just like a general search, because I want to be able to talk about all this stuff, and I would be embarrassed if family members knew what I was reading, because they are the kind that's like, if you're reading anything other than Christian nonfiction, you need to change what you're reading. And I'm just like, nah, I'm reading whatever I want to read. But, yeah, so this has 4 books. I already added the next 2 to my wish list, and I added the one that I just finished to my wish list, because I would like to own it, so that I can reread these at some point. But the audiobooks were amazing, and I'm so sad, because I just finished the only 2 audiobooks that there was for this. But also, she has 3 more books um, that are a different series. And then she has several other books, but those three are also available on audio. So I would not be surprised if I don't knock out some of those just because her writing was really good. She just does not hold back at all. If you like romance and you like spicy romance, then yes, this. Anyway, yeah, so if y'all go to her Amazon, she actually offers a crap ton of this stuff for free, which is really cool. So basically, any of her series, she has the first one for free. And then even with that, all of her books are like, I think the most expensive one is like $4.99. The most expensive is $4.99. And that's almost a 500-page book. So y'all go support this author. It's Alexia Praks, Praks. So some of them, it looks like, yeah, she's got some where there's more than one love interest, and she's got male, and she's got male, female, and then it looks like just male, female. So she's got all the romances, plus she's got one in here that looks like fantasy, and it's called The Seven Demon Lords. The Seven Demon Lords? She getting real reverse harem with seven. I don't know if I can keep up with that, but we'll see. We will see. But yeah, some spicy books. Spicy books. But it was good.